it took the Cornell school pretty much out of the loop.
Right.
As far as having to plan anything or use their resources to get things done. So I got this form about the H1N1, had all the information in it, consent forms, and all I did was send it back into the county. Whereas ARCPOR is worried about parental involvement. I don't know how much more involvement I could have had
right.
with my child in Cornell by the county sending all this information packet.
Right. Well, I do respect the fact that he hasn't, he's not just doing this herd conformity thing where we're all going to do this and you can't have a second opinion. But I think his issue was some parental complaints. But you're right. I got the form myself and it's very detailed. It's single spaced, double sided, and if you don't sign it, that means you're not consenting. But it is interesting that he's taken a lot of flack. He's taken flack from the county and some of the nurses who are going to be running these programs that it's not a wise decision. So there is criticism there.
Yeah, there's two other main things, if I may, that really stuck out. One was the fact that he thinks he's going to get more. This is Mr. Locke and Hartford, the superintendent. He's going to get more participation if it's held after school hours.
Right, right.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
It doesn't seem to follow logic.
I mean, the kids are right there in the school,
right.
Line them up. And second, the schools are already getting parental consent for such things as aspirin,
right.
or take an asthma inhaler. The parents are involved in that. The school makes sure the kids are involved in that. And to say that he wants more parental involvement, I don't know what more parents can do when they get this flyer in the mail. It tells you everything about the. I think in the long run, the decision for ARCPOR not to hold this during school hours is a huge mistake because in hindsight, what if something hit soon? And now you're closing school down, or you're missing school. I don't know. I just don't get it.
I think a lot of these superintendents and principals, if you get enough vocal, even if it's a minority, that one or two irate parents that are just, overwhelmed and beside themselves with you can't do this, they must feel that pressure and just decide to go that route. So it'll be interesting to see if he has any backlash to the backlash and changes his mind and decides to have those in-house clinics. So
yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks for the call. Well, on to other news. This week we celebrated Veterans Day, and I read an interesting article out of the Washington Post, that says morale has fallen among soldiers in Afghanistan. Troops are seeing record violence over there, and it's having an effect on them here. Those in Iraq have an improved mental health amid lower violence, but they have an increase in suicides when they return home, marital strife, and there's been now more attention, of course, placed on the health of our veterans due to what happened in Fort Hood. And apparently some of the people who were supposed to be deployed to Afghanistan were mental health professionals, and they have been killed. Depression, anxiety, psychological problems are the same as they were in 2007, but the shortage of mental health workers makes these problems drawn out, and they're not being taken care of as swiftly or as effectively. Efforts are underway to get more health workers over to Afghan, and the Afghanistan survey says that although morale is approximately the same, the rates are higher. And an executive summary of the report will be explained at a news conference next Friday. Also, you had Chuck Schumer this past week reporting on the increase in the homeless veterans in this country. So especially this past week, we're hearing a lot about our veterans, and I'm not sure that those that are overseas or at home are getting all of the services that they need. Back to healthcare. I don't know if anybody saw, there was this just kind of a comical thing. They had a photo of Nancy Pelosi next to Steven Tyler, and they called it switched at birth. You can see there, it looks like all of their plastic surgery has paralleled each other over time. All the nips and tucks seem to match, but Nancy Pelosi had to compromise a lot on health care regarding abortion. She pulled out all the stops and compromised on a lot of things. But there's a lot of organizations out there who now will not support this health care bill, specifically because of the Stupak Amendment, which came in and denies federal funds as well as subsidies to individuals to pay for abortions. The bill prohibits, specifically, quote, prohibits the use of federal funding for abortion under the public health insurance option and prohibits the use of federal affordability credits to purchase a health insurance policy that covers abortion. And it coexists with that Hyde Amendment. O'Neill says, I don't even know who, Nancy Pelosi said that it will prohibit insurance companies from offering abortion if anyone in their plan has received any kind of subsidy. It's very cleverly done, she told ABC News. Also, the Catholic bishops are quite happy with this, and the Democrats are calling on them, saying that they are the ones who have ruined health care reform in America by making sure that this abortion amendment was put on. Abortion rights activists say that the effect it will have on this is that we will have more babies and more poverty and poor health care. In an interview with President Obama, he was asked if this Stupak Amendment goes beyond his pledge to keep federal funds from funding abortions. He said, I laid out a very simple principle, which is that this is a health care bill, not an abortion bill. We're not looking to change that. The principle of the Hyde Amendment has been in place for very long, which is that federal dollars are not to be used to subsidize abortions. O'Neill, as I said before, from NARAL, says that she read that quote to people and that they're gasping because abortion to them is fundamental health care. And Obama himself had said many times that to him, abortion is a reproductive health right. It is a health issue. So Obama continues to say there's strong sides on both sides of the issue, but of course I think he would sign this in spite of those amendments in the bill. The president has handed us a bill, says O'Neill from NARAL, that reverses Roe versus Wade. That's pretty extreme. I'm not sure how she gets to that. Stupak Pitts is such a sweeping denial of insurance cover of abortion for women that in fact makes abortion unavailable to women. In Roe versus Wade, the court said the government may not restrict women from exercising their choice to have abortion, and Stupak Pitts clearly stops women from doing it. It's not going to stop women from getting abortions. She says there's no question that Hillary Clinton would have fought for our rights. So we have Planned Parenthood and NARAL are all now against this health care bill strictly because it will not cover abortion. Let's check in with Tom Booth at HFO on WLEA.
AM 1480 WLEA. This is AM 1480 WLEA.
Welcome back to the Amy McManus Show on AM 1480 WLEA. We do have a call from someone who'd like to respond to that little bit we did about Earthport and H1N1. Hello.
Hello?
Hi. What's your name?
Well, I would just like to say that if I read the article correctly, it said that the superintendent would like the parent present at when the child received the shot.
Right.
Now, that's different than signing a paper. That's the child is there and the parent is there to hold the child's hand if necessary.
Right. Yeah, I that's what I read as well, and I don't think it's unreasonable. It's understandable. Do you think that what do you think the consensus is? Do you think most parents are appreciative of that they want to be there with their kid, or do you
I think that some of them would be glad to be there, and some of them I think would be glad not to be.
Right. Well, especially for the younger ones. You're talking about kindergarten, first graders, and second graders. Yeah.
Right. And I don't know. I don't have any children attending the school right now, but I thought there is a difference, and you're signing these permission papers, and you're being there when the child has his shot.
Yeah, you're right. There is a difference. Well, thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you.
You've been listening to the Amy McManus Show on AM 1480 WLEA. Coming up next, Brian O'Neill will be talking to the Livingston County Sheriff's deputy who made that big heroin bust this past week. Have a good day.
AM 1480 WLEA, Cornell, New York.